Hi, my name is Kate Berman, and this is my introduction video, assignment 1A for EDL 853. First, a little bit about me. I graduated from Fort Hays State in 2015 with a BS in elementary education, and I had got my minor in special education. My name for the class is Kate Lehman because I got married last summer, and so now my name is Kate Berman. I just haven't got around to changing it on Tiger Tracks yet. The first question I learned very quickly when you get married is, are you ready for babies yet? And no, I have no babies, but we do have a little puppy named Sandy that we absolutely love to death. I am almost through my second year of teaching and coaching. 6 more weeks, we can do it. The district I work at USD 270, which is Plainville Elementary School. It's about 23 miles north of Hays. I live in Hays and commute every day, and I love the drive. People think it would be terrible, but it's not. 46% of our students are free and reduced. We are a predominantly white, middle-class community, and there's a 4.8% unemployment rate in the community. We have a very low percentage of students in special education. I believe that it is under 10%, but the kids that we do have in special education are on IEPs, or are on IEPs. They take a lot of time, and so even though it's a low percentage, it still is, takes a lot of effort. So I started by going over some of the things that the district does for our special education students and our content-based learning stuff. The first thing that we do is we have a SIT program, the student intervention team. To get a student referred for an IEP or anything like that, they have to go through the SIT process first. So they have a meeting once a month for that, and that kind of helps know who needs what, and the whole entire district does that. We also have an MTS behavior training group, and the school is in the process right now of implementing a whole district-wide behavior program that will hopefully help with some of our social-emotional issues that we see in our special education classroom. We're about halfway through the implementation of it. We've gotten to the point where we have like a school matrix and things like that. And with our special education students, I've noticed that that's really helped because we now have specific behaviors that we look for that are either good or bad, and they're very specific to what you need to do in this situation, in this spot, and how you implement it. So that's kind of neat. We have a building leadership team that goes through some of the stuff with special education and kind of helps know where to do what. And then we have the DSC, or our District Student Committee. They help know what curriculum to order, and I'll hit more on the DSC a little bit later in this presentation. We are also trying to implement a Walk to Success program where we break our students into smaller groups. We have a high level, low level, on level, and then at the end of every day we work K through 6 and then have the high school kids come help us and get the kids that are below level caught back up while enriching the above level kids. So that's kind of cool. That's what our whole entire district does. Then I went and I focused on kind of what our K-6 building does. And I went through the different content-based materials that we use. So in reading / our English language learning, we have a wide variety of materials. We use the reading series, which I absolutely love. We have our regular curriculum with that, and then the students that need extra, we have a reading mastery and decoding program, and we use that for the kids that struggle with fluency. And I teach 3rd grade, so we have a lot of kids, if they are not fluent readers, I have them doing this decoding program just so they can work more on their chunk words like the sh, sa, those kind of things, SHTH. We have a corrective reading program for kids that struggle with comprehension. And then we have a reading specialist that comes in and does fluency drills with students that struggle with oral reading. And actually what she does is she does it with every single student. And if they are on level or above level, they get out of the program. And then she'll come in during my math time and we do our math worksheet or whatever you want to call it. She tests the kids orally. It takes a minute a day per kid. So with classes that have 13, it's all 13 minutes for a very good program. So that's what we did for reading. The Reading Street series has a lot of different on-level, above-level, below-level things that we also utilize. When it comes to math, we use Go Math series, and Common Core gets a bad rap, but I really, really love our Go Math Common Core series. I like it because it has an above level, an on level, and then a below level for each student. And so you give the on level to everybody, you give the on level lesson to everybody. And then you give your above level kids an enrichment activity to do that they can usually do on their own. And then you can reteach to your below level kids, which is kind of neat. We also use SACs and maps for kids that need help bridging the gap between their level and grade level. This is not my favorite program because a lot of it, like even at the third grade level, is just going through, what is 2 plus 2? What is 4 plus 4? Which is every single day. And I feel like my special education students know that, but they have a lot of behaviors that just keep them from vocalizing what they know. But it's better than nothing. And then, like I said, the Go Math series provides us an above level, an on level, and a below level resources that we use for the kids. These are some learning strategies for students with special education. We use a lot of different strategies in our K through 6 building. We have paras that are trained in all the different methods and can pull kids out. So like those oral reading fluency drills and these below-level math things that we do. I have my paras a lot of times take the kids out and help reteach it to them. And that really, really helps. Just so that my on-level kids can stay on level and even work to be above level. And when the paras give that content-based method, they can really help those special education students excel. We also have a peer mentoring program for the high need students, and we're in the process of adding adaptable seating for our classrooms. Now, I know that the peer mentoring program and the adaptable seats really aren't learning strategies, but they're accommodations that we make, and my kids just love them. Even my on-level kids use them quite a bit. Personally, I do a really good job in math, I think, at helping my special education students have their content-based materials and strategies ready to roll. Reading, I'm not so good at, just because by third grade, I have a hard time going back and teaching how to read if they can't already do it, just the chunking of the words and things like that. We do it as, like I said, we do our reading and our math as a big group, and then I give out the activity sheets, and my below-level kids get help and things like that. So that's kind of how I feel about my personal use of it. We also do a computer program that helps with our enrichment. We do one called iStation to help the reading kids, and we do one called Prodigy, which is a game. Check it out. It's very cool. This is kind of my reading. Our reading for our below level and above level stuff is not great. It has a really, really good on level unit, but then all it has for the below level is like short passages for comprehension that you answer on the back. So that's not as good. But most of our special education students get pulled out of the room sometime during the day for reading, whether it's reading recovery or just extra help with their phonics and fluency in the special education room. To help me do a better job at reading in the district in general, I think that there are several things we could do. Reading would improve if we could find time in the day to do guided reading groups. I would love to have below level, on level, above level reading groups, but I just can't find time. The way that our basal is, it almost takes 90 minutes just to get through the on level stuff, and it's just hard to find more to do. I'm really hoping that we can get our walk to success implemented, because then we would have that extra time built in to help those below level kids. This is kind of where the DSC I talked about earlier comes in. I would love for our district to buy a better reading supplemental program or curriculum that we could do at our level. We used to have Lexia, which was a computer program which I loved, especially for our special ed students, because they were it was computer based. They could get on there. It was things they understood, and it worked right at their level. We use iStation now, and I found that it's not near as good as Lexia, but it's what the state is offering for free, so it's kind of what we're going with. But I would really like just a different curriculum for our special education students. The issue is funding, like usual. There's just not enough money to buy any more curriculum that isn't necessary. We just bought a really, really neat science unit, and so we're not buying more textbooks anytime soon. And our next update needs to be our social studies, because our social studies books are so old that they are, they are the history. They're not teaching new history. There's also not enough money to hire more paras, especially to help with that Walk to Success program. And more so than funding, the issue is time. It's just hard to find the time to do it, as I'm sure everybody else knows. The standards that I used last but not least was 4B, collaborate to establish metrics, collect and analyze data, interpret results, and share findings to improve staff performance and student learning. The more you collaborate, the better off your students are going to be. And then the second one was to advocate on a local, state, and national level for policies, programs, funding to support implementation of technology, infusion, vision, and a strategic plan. That's kind of my funding for my Lexia that I talked about. Thank you.